After the November 2020 elections, it seemed that the military was quite disappointed in the showing that their political vehicle, the USDP, had made. They expected that it would do better than it did and that they would be able to leverage both that bloc, their 25% in the parliament, and then potentially some ethnic nationalities, political parties, or members of parliament to cobble together enough of a majority in order to put Min Aung Hlaing in the presidency. When that didn't happen, they went to plan B, which was to declare that the election had been fraudulent and to accuse the NLD of electoral mismanagement and fraud. Now, there were problems with the election. Nobody would say that it was perfect. Any election is going to have issues, as we've seen in our own country. But um, overall, the election was viewed as a credible representation of the will of the Burmese people, that the NLD did continue to build out their majority rather than lose seats. So I think that there was an element of surprise in that for the military, for the Tatmadaw, and for Min Aung Hlaing in particular. They tend to have a belief that they are more popular than they are among the people of the country, and this is a problem in the past. We've seen this in the 2015 elections, and frankly in the 1990 elections, where the military seems to believe their own press releases about how popular they are with the people of the country, and they've consistently underestimated the enduring popularity of both the NLD and the enduring desire of the Burmese people not to live under a military dictatorship or live with the military ruling them. So I believe that once they did lose the election in November 2020, they proceeded with this effort to essentially undermine and delegitimize the NLD's election win. And they did this through a variety of things where they claimed that they were carrying out an investigation that showed that millions of votes were fraudulently cast. They accused the election commission of doing things that were corrupt and illegal and serving as the vehicle of the NLD. And they also began accusing Aung San Suu Kyi and other senior leaders of the NLD directly of corruption and of participating in corrupt activities. And so this is how they laid the groundwork. And there was a lot of tension on the ground leading up to the seating of the parliament. And that was why people in the weeks before the coup, there was a lot of backing and forthing about whether there was going to be a coup or not. And my contacts on the ground were becoming increasingly nervous as the military issued ever more maximalist statements saying around their views about the election and that it was fraudulent, and basically warning the NLD not to try to seat the parliament that had been elected in November 2020. When the NLD proceeded, believed that the military, again, my understanding is that the NLD leadership believed that the military was bluffing, that they had too much to risk. And many other commentators also believed that the military had too much to risk from launching a coup because they benefited from the status quo ante of the past 10 years as well. They've seen dramatic opportunities for investment and for their cronies to make a lot more money. They've made a lot of money, and they had seen themselves be in some ways legitimized by the NLD's cooperation with them over the situation of the Rohingya and the genocide of the Rohingya in 2017, and how Aung San Suu Kyi had covered for them essentially for those atrocities. So there was a lot of assumption that they had too much to lose from actually launching a coup. But as it turns out, they didn't see it that way, and their risk calculus was a different one than what many of the commentators in the international community believed it to be.